So when you let go of the rotation in the back leg and focus on full rotation, why don't you rest? Hold for 3 hours and focus on full rotation in the front leg. Almost all of us get a whole lot more. It's called lateral flexion in the pelvis. How's that feel? Is that a new position for you? Yeah. And what she's gained here is a softness in the groin. And those of you on this side will look at her butt on the second side. Do you see how nice and flat and open? Is that a happy sacrum? And do you remember before when she was in that back bend and her sacrum was jammed into her lower back? Does that make sense? Yes, yes, I can. Okay, so you're losing this rotation for me. Good. So all we're going to do is breathe into the belly. And she's going to roll the belly to the sky. And she's going to breathe into those ribs and open into the sky. And she's going to lengthen that neck and look straight up. Got it? That's a gorgeous pose. So, and you get to rest. Did that feel awesome? So that's great. Can you remember? It's going to make your bike riding better. It's going to make everything better. Happy sacrum. Okay, so this is what we do. When there's somewhere in the body that feels stuck, we find an escape valve. Does that make sense? Right? It's like, okay, this won't move, so I'll do that. And that won't move, so I'll do this. Do you know what I mean? That's just what we do. We find a place of escape. So what you did, because you didn't know that there actually is a built-in escape valve, right? Does that make sense? How many of you thought it was external rotation of both hips and trying to stack your pelvis? I know, I'm sorry. We all learned that in the 70s. Some of you aren't that old, sorry. So if you can get the rotation here, and look at this, with that leg neutral, so is my pelvis stacked square? No, it's not possible unless you're going to smash your sacrum, and then you have to turn it into a back bend to make sense of it, right? It's the only thing to do, because the head of your sacrum is pushed way forward. But if I can learn to roll that back leg in, find maximum rotation, I'm going to get a lot lower, and then from the waist up, freedom, right? Supported freedom, all right? So that's what the tight hip scenario, tight hip, they're not that tight. I'm not surprised. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun of your condition, but can you imagine how working that way in your standing poses over time, plus bike riding, which is the other way, is really hard in your low back. Madam, Miss Open Hips, let's have you face this way. She's got a lot of movement in this body. And frankly, it's a lot harder for her. So much better. Thank you for fixing it. Will you show them what you did before? Yeah, that's it. That's what you did before. Okay? So, and as much movement as she has, okay, this isn't, so go ahead. She was doing that. And she can almost get away with it. She's like almost Cirque du Soleil material. Did you know that? No. Yeah. Good. But just watch. All we're doing is letting that back leg soften. And then we're going to suck the back of the thigh into the pelvis, and we're going to roll it. Yes, madam. And then you're just going to zipper your belly up. Oh, hello, lower belly. How's that? Is that a happy sacrum? Do you see how flat and gorgeous? You can just see her spine blossoming out of there. And is her pelvis squaring? No. Does it look gorgeous? Yes. Can she do this when she's 108? Absolutely. How does it feel? Does it feel easier? That's what happens. When we get lined up, it's easier. It's a yoga party. Okay, and you get to rest. What, you can't do the arms? You want me to fix everybody in the room? Ready? Go! I'd love to fix everyone in the room, but how about if we worked with a partner? Would that help? Is everyone clear about what we're looking for here? Can we just do one little, before you find your partner, I want to do one little experiment with everybody. The hands-on adjustment, I'm not going to be real specific, you're just going to play. But basically, most of us will need to soften the back inner groin back, allowing that back hip. We're not trying to turn the pelvis down, right? It's not third warrior. It's not even second warrior, right? It is slightly rolled down so we can have maximum movement here. You will have to press into that big toe to maintain that, right? Otherwise, it turns into that, right? That's where the grounding matters. Okay, so everybody come back to your mat and stand in Prasarita Padottanasana. Yes, everyone knows that word? So let's face this way. And put your hands on your hips. Toes dead ahead, neutral. Don't worry, I'm not going to lose you. And then take a big inhale and keeping your legs here, really point your toes dead ahead, a little wider for you. And then go ahead and do Trikonasana with your legs neutral. What's wrong? Go ahead. And then maybe the other side will be easier. What's happening? Does it feel like you're stuck? It is stuck. This is called bony compression, right? The head of the femur is running into the iliac crest. Does that make sense, those words? The big pelvic bone here that looks like giant butterflies, it's running into the pelvis. So let's just turn one leg out. And what have we done? We've moved that greater trochanter to the back. It's out of the way, and we can move.